Hello, Facebook. I am Danielle Love, and I just attempted a live video for 11 minutes with no sound. So before I launch off into my lesson about loving your body for today, I'm going to ask my amazing husband who's upstairs to tell me whether or not he can hear me. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yay. Okay. I heard him say I hear you. Okay. So third time's a charm. So I'm Danielle Love. I am just a little bit getting used to this Facebook Live thing. You'd think that after doing it, 10, 20, 30 times, I'd be used to it. But for some reason, it's still a little bit unnatural. I don't know, but we're going to make it natural. So in the same energy of my July Live Unapologetically posts, which I posted every single day of July, in the energy of sharing aspects of myself that are authentic and true, and without apologizing because they may be against the grain of normal society, or they're not traditional or anything like that. So doing that gave a lot of feedback from a lot of people, whether it was on comments on the post that I made or in the DMs that I got about what I was sharing. But what that did was let me know that there was a lot more room for sharing lessons and perspectives about the biggest shifts that both I've made personally in my own life in order to create much more joy and much more pleasure. Actually, the actual ability to receive and call in joy and pleasure. And also, these are the main lessons, the foundational energetic shifts of perspective and belief that I've been teaching as a diabetes coach, a self-love coach, a love, sex, and relationship coach for the last 11 years. These are the foundational practices and perspective shifts that we get to consciously choose for ourselves if inviting the energy and the vibration of love, joy, and pleasure is something that we desire more of in our lives. So the first and most foundational one that I am so grateful that I chose to make, and when I say chose to make, it was a choice. And when I made that choice, it was a simple choice, but it was not an easy choice. And so there's a big difference between simple and easy. Just because something is simple certainly doesn't make it easy. That's why when we make these pretty massive conscious decisions about the ways in which we desire to interact with ourselves, with the relationship that we have with ourselves, it's extremely important to practice, to put them into practice, because it's the choice, and then it's the embodiment. And the embodiment of a choice comes from conditioning, comes from practice, comes from conscious intention, repeating, repeating, repeating. And as we repeat these practices that nourish us, that fill us up, that make us feel happy, we then have new neural pathways in our brain that support them continuing to grow stronger and stronger, which then create habits, right? And so loving your body, so that's the title of the video. Do you love your body? And I mean, like, really love it, fat rolls and all. And I say that not in a joking way. We all have fat rolls. Well, I mean, I don't know, everyone has fat rolls. I have fat rolls. And it took me a very long time in my life to get to the point where I can grab my fat rolls. I'm not going to do it on camera right now, but maybe in another video I'll get to the point where I actually am going to grab my fat rolls and show you how much I love them. But really tell them, I love you. I am so grateful for you. You have sustained me through my entire life. There has not been a day in my life where my body has not shown up for me and supported me and loved me. And the perspective shift really comes in when we become willing and able to view our body through a different lens. And that lens that I teach and that I choose to adopt is a lens that says that our bodies are holy, our bodies are sacred, our bodies were appointed to us or gifted to us, however you want to state it. It's really independent to you by, again, this is independent to you as well, the creator, God, goddess, the primal source of all things, infinite intelligence, whatever label you give to whatever creative force that we all stemmed from. This physical vessel was a gift that we were appointed in order to carry our consciousness through this physical iteration of experiencing life. When we begin seeing this vessel that way, it changes the ways in which we interact with it. Now, I'm not saying that when you have that shift, that it's an all or nothing prospect. In fact, anybody that's ever worked with me in any capacity knows that I am anti all or nothing. I am anti perfection, because that's I'm going to use the word, that's a fake way to attempt to interact with anything in life, because binaries are bullshit. Like I've said, it's not black and white. There's no this or that. It's always this and that and that and that. There are many, many, many ands, right? We don't have ors unless we put the kind of ultimatum on ourselves, right? So when you embrace and embody the perspective shift and the belief that your physical body was gifted to you by the divine, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have a sip of alcohol or eat fast food or whatever thing that your brain or your mind might be throwing up. Well, I can't possibly think that my body is a holy sacred vessel if I do X, right? Because that's another way that our ego is trying to get in there and tell us, oh no, your body is not that. Your body is just this bag of meat and bones, right? Which is, again, another perspective that one can choose to adopt. So when we see our body from this perspective, it shifts the ways in which we speak about our bodies, both outwardly to other people and inwardly in our heads. Because I think you and I both know that everybody's worst critic is themselves. And the narratives that we run inside of our heads, particularly about our physical bodies, I can say from coaching hundreds of people one-on-one, thousands of people through group coaching, speaking from large stages, being on 20 or 30 podcasts, interviews, I mean, so many places that I've interacted with human beings, is that the majority of human beings are running a narrative about their body, about their physical body, that does not create joy, that actually repels pleasure, that actually tells them that their bodies are their enemy. And I can relate to that extremely directly from having lived with type 1 diabetes for 30 years, having recovered from a pretty severe eating disorder, and having a very tumultuous relationship with my body, that I understand that perspective. And one of the biggest, the tip that I'm going to give today, like for practice, that if you desire to begin creating and cultivating a new, deeply rooted relationship with your body that says that it's a holy, sacred vessel that you were gifted by the divine, the number one way in which you can begin conditioning that is to speak to your body. Speak to it every single day. I'll use myself as an example. Living with diabetes, a lot of us are and I can say this from existing in the diabetes community for so many years, that there's a narrative that's very popular that I find very jarring, that our pancreas hates us, our pancreas is a bum, my pancreas is, it's trying to kill me. I mean, I've heard every iteration. And the reality of it is that our pancreases do not have an agenda, right? They don't have qualities where they're intending on hurting you. Or in fact, the reality of the situation is, no matter who you are, no matter what type of relationship you have with your body or what type of dis-ease you may be experiencing inside of your body, is that there is no one, and I mean this, hear me when I say this, there is no one or no thing that will ever love you more in your entire life than your physical body? Nothing. No one. Your physical body exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to keep you alive. That goes from your external energetic field that goes out into the cosmos, deepest down into your most tiny cellular atomic makeup. Your body loves you so deeply that you may not at this very moment even be able to comprehend the level of love that your body houses for you. So the way that I call it when I teach people and when I talk about my own body is that I am the steward of my vessel. My body is my vessel, and a steward, somebody who is appointed with stewarding something, is the caretaker, right? So when we view our body as a sacred vessel and that we know we're the steward of it, and we speak love over our body every day. We speak joy, we speak gratitude, we speak appreciation to our body, and particularly to the aspects or parts of your body that you may, up until this point in your life, have perceived to be negative, right? Like I tell my pancreas I love it, but my pancreas doesn't produce insulin. My mom tells her pancreas she loves it every day. She has pancreatic cancer. So when I tell you how deeply effective this is at recreating, reconditioning, and rooting in deep in the energy of love, the ways in which you interact with your body, speaking out loud is the best and most effective way to start that practice. In the sacred sexual energy container, that this body of work that has been gifted to me, it's started coming through me almost a year ago, and I'm just now getting ready to unleash it on the world. Body love and embodiment of that love is a big aspect of the foundational practice that we will be going through and supporting each other through. And I like to put music to things. I'm a very musical person. Music shifts energy. Music is a powerful tool. And so when I think of a song that embodies kind of this feeling that I'm talking about, it's I'm Feeling Myself by Nicki and Beyonce, right? I desire for every person out there to genuinely hear that song, I'm feeling myself, I'm feeling myself, and really feel yourself like you are absolutely divine. Your body is here and it lives to serve you and house your consciousness. And I know from so much personal and professional experience that when that shift really begins to take root and grow, the possibilities for your health, your wellness, your relationships are exponentially, they just explode. Because the reality of it is whether I'm teaching body love for diabetes, or whether I'm teaching body love for self-love, or I'm teaching body love for relationships, it's all the same thing. We want to feel more joy. We want to feel more pleasure. Whether it's I just want to love my body more, I want to feel sexier when I'm naked, whatever it might be, it all roots and stems from the same area. And if we're not experiencing the pleasure and joy that we desire, it's generally okay to assume that it's coming from a lack of love, and that the narratives that you're running in your head about your body are rooted in fear and something else. I don't know what else. It could be anything, frustration, any number of things that don't necessarily, that actually, not necessarily, that vibrationally speaking, energetically speaking, repel pleasure, repel joy, repel gratitude, repel peace, repel love, right? So we want to cultivate and create a practice where we embody the fact that our body is a holy, sacred vessel appointed to us by the divine, and that we don't have to take care of our bodies. We get to. It is an unimaginable privilege that we are all gifted with. And in the world we live in today, with all of this toxic culture, especially for women, but it certainly exists for men as well, that we need to look a certain way or present ourselves a certain way or meet these beauty ideals or standards. I'm here to tell you that's all absolute bullshit and to throw it out the window. Your body is perfect right now. Your body was perfect yesterday, your body will be perfect tomorrow, and your body was and is and will be perfect forever. Period. That's my belief. That's the perspective I choose to believe. Fat rolls and all. So I'm going to end it up here. 15 minutes. I feel like that's a good amount. I'm going to be coming back. My intention is to come back each day during the weekdays to give a little perspective shift or belief that has completely changed my life, that are very simple, not necessarily easy, and that have changed all of my clients' lives for the better. I would love to hear any feedback you have about this. How do you feel about your body? Can you grab your fat rolls and tell them you love them right now and mean it? Or can you, or will you begin speaking love and peace and joy and pleasure over your body each day, telling it how much you love it? Will there be any shifts that you're willing to make in order to begin cultivating that sacred relationship with your body? Okay, signing off for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.